Gua shlonkum. So today we have a special episode of The Untold. We're very happy here to be joined by my co-host, Dajer Hoturi. I'm your host, Fatma Awadi, and let's get to our guest.
Goa.
Gua.
That was nice.
Really?
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Goa. All
Let's
right.
get to our guest, Miss Mariam AlMisbah.
Misbah.
She will be here talking to us about her content creation when it comes to the Kuwaiti dialect. She teaches foreigners or non-Kuwaiti speakers
But
how
we can
to
also
speak
learn
Kuwaiti.
stuff from her as well.
Of course, I follow her and I always cheat. Even though my Kuwaiti has no problem, but yeah.
But it's good
That was
to
great.
see such content.
Yes.
All right, so stay with us. We'll be back.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with Miss Mariam AlMisbah. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Are
Hi.
you excited?
Very excited.
And
Actually.
nervous.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Very
Nervous,
nervous.
yes.
Yeah.
So this isn't your first interview, is it?
It's my first interview in English.
In English. Okay,
Yeah.
but you're going to do fine. Don't worry. It's going to be
Inshallah.
fun.
Inshallah, hopefully.
Now, Miss Mariam, what inspired you to create content focused on Kuwaiti culture?
Actually, I saw a gap. A lot of foreigners here living in Kuwait, they want to know about the Kuwaiti culture and the dialect, but they don't find a place or a source where they can get the information from. So this is why I started that.
All right, so Miss Mariam, I'm really interested in how you actually came up with the idea of having the social media account and then, spreading like how to pronounce the Kuwaiti dialect and these words. So can you tell us about the journey?
How it started. Actually, I used to have friends who are non-Kuwaitis. I used to teach the Kuwaiti dialect and the Kuwaiti culture with. And then I found like there are a lot of people actually who need. There is a big need for this thing.
Okay.
So I started the account, the Instagram account, to reach more people.
All right. So it's not for students anymore, but like for everyone.
For
It
everyone.
was available on social media. Well, there you go. We have new words. Yesterday I was scrolling down through the account and I found cool stuff like about the dates, let's say. There are 3 different types of
Types of
dates.
dates, yeah.
So I know dates is dates, Tamil, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't get into these details actually about what was it? The 3 types?
Halal,
Yes.
Nassif.
Yes,
And tamar.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So
You don't
basically-
know halal?
I just eat dates. That's it.
No, halal is different. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So
different.
it's the before it gets
Ripe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it tastes so good, right?
They
Yeah.
make juice out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, also, Miss Mariam, when we talk about explaining what you say in Arabic for, let's say, for Kuwaitis, some people in Kuwait say tus, and others say buadi, right? Badia, tasa. and- in my household, we say midruban. A lot of people don't say that. Do you know what it is?
No, this is new to me. Is this Arabic?
Yeah, this is Kuwaiti. Yes.
Kuwaiti.
So, and then this,
This
is a
is
hallway.
why. This is
Yes.
why I was interested.
Yes. Now, Miss Mariam, when we talk about choosing the words, if you say these words, for example, in my family, we say madruban, okay, which is, I can tell that you don't know this one.
I
It's,
know. I know.
Yeah, now you
I
know.
Now you know.
It's like a hallway. Some people say tasa or tus, and some people say buadi. And when you tell us this is another word for this, and this is synonym to it, we understand because it's from the Arabic language. We can understand what you're saying. But how do you choose these words, or how do you choose certain words for the foreigners to learn them in the Kuwaiti language?
Yeah, it's totally different to teach Kuwaiti to Kuwaitis and to teach Kuwaitis to non-Kuwaitis.
Exactly.
And to teach Kuwaitis to foreigners who don't know any Arabic, and to teach Kuwaiti to foreigners who actually know basic Arabic, or Fusha, what we call the formal Arabic. So this was a challenge for me in the beginning, because in the beginning, for me as a Kuwaiti, I talk like a grandmother. Actually,
Mashallah, yeah.
the way I speak Kuwaiti is like very old Kuwaiti. So the words that I choose normally doesn't sound familiar to most Kuwaitis nowadays.
Okay.
Especially the young Kuwaitis nowadays.
Because
now,
we don't use these words anymore. That's
yeah. So when I write the grocery list for my husband, I actually will write المachla. But for a non-Kuwaiti, if I want to teach them Kuwaiti, I will choose the word أغراض البيت, because this is the word that they're going to hear more often than المachla.
But isn't it more interesting if you tell them this is what we, for example, we say matcha, we say nchayil, right?
Nchayil,
Yeah. We don't say نشتري
أغراض البيت. It's too long actually.
أشتري جنطة, yes, but
Yeah.
nchayil, it's a whole meaning.
Yeah.
So one word means so many things.
Yeah.
And isn't that more interesting to showcase that in our language, in Kuwaiti, not just in Arabic, in Kuwaiti, we have this word that means so many things.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yes, yeah, we do have.
Yeah.
It's beautiful actually, and sometimes I will put this in the stories on Instagram.
Yes.
I will say, if you want to sound Kuwaiti, this is the word. For example, أغراض البيت. If you want to sound very Kuwaiti, you can choose المachla, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
and
is
like
it?
saying السلام عليكم and saying guwa.
Yes.
Guwa is
Oh, I
very
always say
Kuwaiti,
guwa,
and
yes.
this is why I chose the name guwa.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say gua.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's gua. And they go
Gua.
like, why do you say gua? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not.
It's very Kuwaiti.
Yes, it is,
Quick,
right?
Easier, simpler. But when it comes to the reaction, how about the reaction when you tell them about these words?
The reaction of the followers, you mean?
Yes,
or-
yes, yeah, the people, the audience,
Especially the foreigners.
the foreigners.
They get really excited actually. I get really nice responses from them, and actually they help me go and to continue actually doing this. They are so excited to find content like this. They are so thirsty for something like that.
Wow. And did you have challenges? I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative, but you know, it's always with social media,
Yeah.
there are some people that go like, well, no, you shouldn't say that. We should say this. Did you have any challenges like that from
I guess
people?
especially maybe in the comment section.
Yes, in the comment section, direct messages or something.
Actually, I didn't have negative
Okay, good.
comments, but I
Alhamdulillah.
have some. For example, my followers are not only non-Kuwaitis. I have non-Kuwaitis and I have Kuwaitis. Surprisingly.
Yes, I am
Not-
one of your
not-
followers,
not
by the
anymore,
way.
because, yes.
I'm one of her followers, so I know. Yes.
Yeah, so the Kuwaitis sometimes they will try to correct me or try to give me other synonyms to teach one word for one meaning, for example. Just like what we said, guwa, let's say المachla, for example. When I say أغراض البيت, they will say, yeah, but we call it machla.
But each house has a different dialect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
You know?
that's right.
And I cannot actually tell a non-Kuwaiti, you have to say المachla because this is more accurate, because they will not use it and they will not hear it.
Right, I
They
understand.
might hear it, but not much.
Yes. Like a lot of people say ahati.
Yeah.
When
Like
we grew
worried.
up, yes, when we grew up, we used to say ahaf, which is the same thing. But when we say ahati, for example, for mom and dad, we call them mama and baba. We never said yumma yuba.
In my house, we never say mama and baba.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So you see, it's different. And
I will say yadditi and yaddi,
Yes.
but other houses will say mama oud,
Mama Ouda, yes, Baba Oud, yeah, you're right.
Ideda, this is another
Oh, yeah.
very
yes,
Kuwaiti
Ideda
word, right?
is my husband's
Lots of
family,
words.
yeah.
Yeah, we never say it actually at my home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's really Kuwaiti. I cannot say that this is not Kuwaiti because I don't use this word.
See, that's
It
the
is.
thing.
Yeah.
Do
It's
you
just
think,
you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you think these people, the Kuwaiti people who comment that you should be using this, you should be using that, they are also speaking Kuwaiti? We're not saying that they're not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
And actually, they don't mean it in a bad way. Actually, they're trying to do good.
to
Yeah,
to
it's
put
in
extra
a good
okay.
intention.
All
to
right.
it. Alhamdulillah. So far, I didn't have bad
Alhamdulillah.
comments or bad reactions from any of my followers.
That's
Alhamdulillah.
amazing. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So the comments are like one way to support you.
Yeah.
And in terms of support, who has been your like biggest support in what you do?
Actually, my family. I can say number one, and number two is my followers. My family, for example, my mom and dad have always been my second resource. If I want
So they keep
to
you
give
going.
content, yeah, I will try to make sure of some information. For example, when you talked about the dates, Khalal, Mnassif, and Tamar. Is there any other phase that I don't know of? I will ask them. so that I can make this content. And for example, my sister also helped me a lot with creating the Kuwaiti souvenirs. I have a small souvenir shop that is
Nice.
handmade and Kuwaiti designed souvenirs, and she helped me a lot with this. And also my nieces and my husband today is with me here. So yeah,
That-
and my followers.
Hello.
Hi.
And,
And my followers actually, they give me the push every time, every single time I post something.
yes.
Even if it takes very long, after a very long break, they will always support me.
Wow. So wait, when you went back to Khalal and Tamar, where is Ratab in the whole thing?
Yeah, I
It's
think
the
I think it's,
Ratab
it's
is
there.
the date. That's the final.
It's Ratab and then Tamar. When it's
Ratab and
then Tamar,
Tamar.
as far as I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah,
And then it
because it's
becomes
like
the real, yes.
When
yes.
it's a little dried.
gooey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yes. I
I
wanted
took your question, by the way. That's
No, yeah, it's fine. And I just wanted to share, I just wanted you to tell us or share with us a memorable story or feedback from one of your followers.
I think I have a couple of ones. As I told you, I am intending to teach Kuwaiti to non-Kuwaitis, but to my surprise, I had one follower who wanted me to teach Kuwaiti to her children. She's Kuwaiti, but she's been she's been abroad, living abroad for years for studying, and she has her kids over there. So when they came back to Kuwait, they don't speak proper Kuwaiti, so she wanted me to teach them, and I give private tutoring actually. So
That's
this
really
was
interesting.
so far private tutoring. Inshallah, until بعدين I will give like
Is
classes,
it only
inshallah.
for children?
No, actually, for whoever wants. I still didn't make something good for children yet. So inshallah, I'm going to work on this.
MashaAllah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Another funny story, actually, I had in one event I have participated in. There was I used to display my souvenirs and my services in that booth, and there was an old man who came to me who was very excited to see T-shirts, something similar to what I'm wearing right now. Talk to me in Kuwaiti.
What does it say?
Talk to me in Kuwaiti.
Talk to me in Kuwait.
Yeah, and he saw the T-shirt and he said, "I want several ones with different sizes because he wanted to give his children." So that they will speak Kuwaiti.
Oh,
To my surprise, but that was beautiful.
that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And do you think people who, who grabbed some of the information from you and learned the Kuwaiti dialect, they continued practicing the Kuwaiti dialect?
I had someone who came to me to learn Kuwaiti in a private tutoring session. She learned Kuwaiti for her workplace, actually. So, inshallah, after a couple of sessions, I see her now. She's doing well.
Nice.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Is it easy for... is it like us learning English for the first time? I don't remember how I learned English, but is it easy, do you think?
It's not easy. Even for Kuwaitis, I think it's some words are like difficult. That's why we stopped using them. I guess that's the one.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not just the words, it's the vocabulary and
It
also the
is.
grammar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like how you pronounce it, how you say it. Well,
Yeah.
we have so many things to discuss. But first of all, let's take this quick break and then we get back to ask more questions. All right, welcome back, dear viewers. So, Miss Mariam, when it comes to your content, how do you decide which topic you're going to cover in the videos?
Yeah, sometimes actually it's from real life. Sometimes I will find something interesting when I'm shopping or when I'm on the way. I will get these ideas and I will have to write them down, and then I will have to create that content. And sometimes from
The comments also, you mentioned the comments, the people.
yeah. Sometimes they will ask me in private messaging. This really helps, actually. And sometimes also something that I encounter at home with my husband. Sometimes he will ask me questions, or sometimes we will have a simple misunderstanding because of the language barrier. And sometimes he will find a Kuwaiti word that sounds very funny to him. and I
Okay.
will find like, yeah, this is a good content that I can create of.
That's
Yeah.
nice. So when we talk about your primary audience, can we include your husband too in it?
Inshallah, I hope so. He's following me actually.
Oh, okay.
He's the the biggest supporter with so many likes and hearts.
Oh, that's nice. And do you think that the new generation, this is a question for me, the new generation of Kuwaiti kids, whether they have Kuwaiti moms, Kuwaiti dads, or, non-Kuwaiti parents, do you think they will have a chance to learn the Kuwaiti dialect, the old one?
The old one, through my account, I don't think so, but through other accounts, yeah, they can. There are a lot of accounts that are dedicated to teaching the Kuwaiti dialect for Kuwaitis, the original, the old Kuwaiti dialect for Kuwaitis. But my account is just for the spoken Kuwaiti for nowadays. For example, I think in a few years I will also have to choose to give some examples of words that I don't use. For example, I had a question before. They asked me a question. They sent me a video on Instagram telling me what does that mean, and in the video they said Jabal Eid.
Jabal Eid.
Yeah, and I had to
that's not
actually,
Kuwaiti.
yeah, I will have to translate this and make a content out of it because people now are using it.
Yes.
It's not Kuwaiti, but they are using it. I cannot say that we don't say that because they need to understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also because it's a melange of cultures when it comes to Arabic, not just Kuwaiti.
Yeah.
For example, one time I caught myself talking to my Kuwaiti friend and I told her, Ma'alish, Ma'alish.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay.
we say these words,
We don't,
yeah.
we don't, it's, Ma'alish is very Egyptian. It's not Kuwaiti.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have no Egyptian blood. She doesn't have any Egyptian blood. We're
I
not
say
in
that a lot.
Egypt. But it was from a funny scene we've seen.
Especially in social media.
Especially in social media.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we started talking, and if someone would come to me and be like, "What is Malish?" I'd be like, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
You will know
Kuwaiti?
how to
No,
answer, but it's not
exactly.
Kuwaiti, yeah?
Yeah, we sometimes, I mean, me and my friends, we also say معلكش.
Ah, Malish.
See,
In which dialect is
I
it?
have no idea, but it's something that we hear through social media, and I think in this generation, to answer your question, also in my perspective, that we use shortcuts, like even in English.
Just like in English. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like in
We
English.
say BRB, I'll be right back, ASAP, as soon as possible, right?
Yes, ASAP.
So we try our best to find shortcuts. We don't like the
Yes.
long term.
And now, Miss Mariam, is it possible that because we are evolving and language, for linguists, when you ask them, any language in the world
Evolves
evolves
also, yeah.
and it develops because of the nature that is surrounding it. With the society, kids, they start, new terms, new terminology. Even Oxford Dictionary, they have,
Changes, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it changes. The word selfie is now in the Oxford.
Yeah.
Do you think the Kuwaiti language would the Kuwaiti dialect would survive in 50 years without change?
I don't think so. I don't think any language will survive like how it was in the original form. It changes through years, and yeah.
And is it because it's a dialect, Because when we talk about Kuwaiti dialect, it's not a language. The
Not a
language is Arabic. But the dialect, for
it can
example.
be easily influenced, I think, as a dialect.
Yes,
Because it can be influenced with other Arabic dialects. Khaliji dialects are
Yes.
kind of different.
Yeah.
And we get influenced by it, and also Arabic dialects. Yeah.
Because when we start, if I know this correctly, we have, for example, the word mewa. It's
Yeah,
from meva, Persian,
Really?
right?
Persian.
Yes,
Yeah.
mewa. And we have any other word from like uti. It's from
Uti.
Turkish. And we have so many words from India.
Yeah.
All of these is because, our forefathers used to travel and go for trades and pearl diving and all. So this affected the Kuwaiti dialect.
And this is a nice information I learned recently, is that the Kuwaiti dialect, we have these words as vocabulary of things that we actually brought from abroad.
Okay.
So we have the words of things, but the grammar is pure Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very interesting to learn that.
Yeah.
Because whatever was not available in Kuwait, we borrowed it as is
Yeah.
from abroad.
Yeah.
But the grammar and how we do things and how the action and the
Yeah.
verbs, okay, interesting.
Right. So when it comes to culture, how do you think, or what do you think the social media plays? Do you think that actually social media plays a role in bridging culture gaps?
Yeah, and this is why I started the account actually. I thought that we have a huge gap between Kuwaitis and expats living here. Like the population of Kuwait, we have more expats than Kuwaitis.
That's right.
And we actually get in touch with non-Kuwaitis a lot in our daily life. Maybe in one day you will encounter more non-Kuwaitis than Kuwaitis sometimes.
That's a fact.
But there is no deep conversation. Like we just go to a store and we order things in a restaurant, and this is the basic communication we have with them.
Yes.
But to have deep conversations that they will learn about the Kuwaiti culture, the differences and the beauty of the Kuwaiti culture and history and things, there is a big gap actually. We don't have this conversation. So this is why I started this
account.
Instagram account to try to build a bridge between the two.
And how did this account and this page developed or affected your appreciation for the Kuwaiti culture? I think the more you're immersed in it, the more you appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
And the more you learn,
The more. Yeah. I actually have to be always learning new things. I cannot just stop and say, yeah, I've had enough. I've learned enough. I've always had to learn a lot, in every sector, in every category of the history, of the culture, of the dialect, so many things. If you want to talk about culture, you talk about different things. So you have to be knowledgeable in different things.
All right. So you mentioned that you had like there are different accounts that have the same idea or the same concept, that they teach Kuwaiti dialect.
Yeah,
But
they
not
teach
for foreigners.
they
Yeah.
teach
Yeah.
Kuwaiti dialect for Kuwaitis only.
All right. So
Yeah.
what makes you different is that you teach foreigners.
Yeah, non-Kuwaitis.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right. So can you share any of the upcoming projects or content that you are excited about?
Inshallah, yani I'm working recently on the content, on building bigger content. So far, I've been working all alone. So I really don't have the time to create more content, and it's not easy for me to create content because I actually don't like social media.
All right.
Okay.
But I feel like there is a need, so I have to create that content. And I don't know, this is going to be an opportunity for me to say, I need more volunteers.
Wow.
If anyone is capable of creating content, I have the ideas, but to create the content takes a lot of time and effort for me.
Can you
So
tell us how what's the process of making the content?
Okay,
Like,
for one video, let's
Yes.
say.
it depends.
Okay.
There will be ready videos that I will need to translate. For example, a 15-second video could take me. I should be shameful to say that, but it could take me maybe 20 minutes just to translate and put the subtitles
I
in the
think-
right time
No,
and
no, I
everything.
think that's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Really?
be able to. Yeah.
Say, alhamdulillah.
Yes.
I thought you would say 2 hours.
Yeah, I was
2
going for
hours
2
if-
hours.
2 hours or more if it was a content that I have to do a search about and I have to create it from scratch.
Yes, and
Like-
it's understandable because you don't
Yeah.
want to put misinformation on.
Exactly. And you want it to look nice and catchy and things like that also because it's social media. And this takes a lot of time and effort.
Why do I look at you and think, inshallah, soon you will have a book?
Actually, this is something I'm thinking of.
Right? I don't know, by the way, and she didn't mention anything about it, but I'm like, I think Mariam is gonna write a book about this.
There are a couple of ideas of books, inshallah.
This is
you will
so
see
exciting.
it in the future, inshallah.
Tell us what prompted this idea.
As I told you, there is a need, actually.
Yes.
And I found that there is also a need of preserving the history and the culture for non-Kuwaitis, for English-speaking people, let's say.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So there are simple things like, for example, Kuwaiti traditional games, for example. It is documented, but written in a written form. But how about creating like a content where there are pictures or drawings that children can learn from?
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, and this is something actually I'm working on right now.
Wow, that would be beautiful. Maybe a barcode for them to listen to how
The song, how to say it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Say
this
it.
is something also that's missing. That we know that there are some let's say lullabies or
Yes.
yeah in Kuwaiti, but how to say it we don't know. We need to hear it. Yeah.
Right.
Nice. And what kind of advice do you have for those who are going to be starting a similar educational account, maybe on social media. What's your advice to them?
We need to learn, learn, learn. Learn a lot about the history, the culture, and don't stop learning. Because your house is not all Kuwait. If you live in a certain way, this doesn't necessarily mean that all Kuwaiti people are living in that way.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because if let's say I don't know how to give an example right now, but
So if I say machla and Dej says
أغراض البيت.
أغراض البيت, it doesn't mean that, I should
One is
shame
right.
him or
Yeah,
he
exactly.
should shame me into
exactly, and you should also have pride in your identity, in your culture. If you don't have the pride, you cannot deliver the culture correctly. Because we like Kuwaiti people, we are Hadar, we are Bedu, we are Gruwiya also. We
Yes.
have people from Felice.
Yes.
We also the Bedouins, they come from the north and the south, and there are differences. If you think that you are better than others, for example, if I am Ahdariya and I think that I'm better than Bedouins and I feel shwaya ashamed of the Bedouins, it's not right. You have to have pride. And there's nothing shameful about a culture, any kind of culture. There's nothing shameful about it. Every culture, they have different things from other cultures.
Yes.
And let's say, let me give you an example. For example, cuisine.
All right.
In Kuwait, we have things that we eat, other cultures, they will find disgusting. Do you know?
And vice versa, yes.
Can you give me examples? If you know any examples?
Mahyawa.
Yeah.
I love Mahyawa.
Actually, I've never tried it. I would really like to try
Mahyawa.
it.
Every time I have to explain that it's fish sauce, people just look at me like,
Like what?
And I'm like, with the butter and and I try to make
the
it,
khubuz.
yes, like fine dining.
Sounds
Yeah.
Or
delicious.
something else, like some people will eat dab, right?
Yes.
Dab.
Yeah.
And in old Kuwait, people used to eat shells, seashells. Zababil, they call it.
Okay.
Some people would eat grasshoppers.
Yes.
Oh, yes, the
yeah,
grasshoppers.
yeah.
There's nothing shameful about that.
No.
And it's not wrong to say that we do this.
Also
We-
kara'in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Because in Kuwait, we eat grasshoppers. In France, they eat frogs. In Thailand, they eat insects, what we call insects.
Yes.
We find it disgusting, but they find it also delicious. So what?
It's just a difference of culture and what's
And it's
you're
beautiful.
used to. Yeah.
It makes the culture unique and very, very special. If you have pride in it, you will find that those people, foreigners, they will find interest in staying with you more. They want to learn more from you because you give them information that is different from what they know.
Yes, that's beautiful advice. Thank you so much.
It is, yeah.
Thank you so much for being part of this interview. We had so much fun. We learned new words today. I learned, actually.
كل بونا جماعة.
Yeah.
It's okay. Right? Yeah.
And yes, we hope that you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, actually. Yeah. Thank you
And-
for having me.
Thank you. And you did great, by the way. Mashallah, you did very well.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
good.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, so dear viewers, we will take this quick break before we wrap the episode. Stay with us. Dear viewers, we have reached the end of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. How did you think the episode went?
Did you see me almost jumping on the table trying to tell me more? I was so excited. This episode was very, very special to my heart. Not because we're both talking about languages. I talk about English. She talks about the Kuwaiti dialect. But also because, it's Kuwaiti and it's close to my heart. So when she was explaining, Mariam AlMisbah, when she was explaining all of that, how she chooses her words, how she chooses the content,
Yes.
I really felt like I was part of that.
Yeah, it's almost the
process.
same,
Yes.
but yeah, different language and
Yeah.
dialect. Well, it was very beautiful. We hope that you enjoyed it, dear viewers. And yes, that was the end. We hope to see you again in the next episode. Goodbye.